Hello, focused learners, and welcome to this elite Cambridge exam preparation masterclass. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we are tackling something incredibly vital. I'm your host, and as a Cambridge curriculum architect and someone who has spent way too many hours looking through the examiner's lens, I know exactly where students lose marks and exactly how to get them back. Today, we are opening up the ultimate examiner's playbook for Section 1 presentation, topic selection, and preparation. This is a critical foundational module for the Cambridge Afrikaans language 8679 AS level. Whether you're just trying to survive the syllabus or you're hunting for those top-tier marks, and let's be honest, we all want those high tariff points, understanding how examiners view the specific section is the absolute key to unlocking your potential. We're going to completely dissect complex questions, master your time allocation, deploy some serious critical thinking strategies, and analyze peer problem solving. We are breaking down exactly what examiners demand on your paper, step by step using direct source material and real principal examiner reports. Now, consider the sheer weight of this statement right out of the gate. This topic appears in every examination series. I really want that to sink in for a second. Mastering this section isn't just a good idea, it is absolutely non-negotiable for your success. You cannot avoid it, and you certainly cannot afford to walk in unprepared. It is 100% guaranteed to be sitting there on your exam paper. So since we know it's coming, we have the perfect strategic opportunity to prepare for it and completely lock in those 9 to 15 mark questions before we even step foot into the exam room. The examiners are literally waiting to see who has prepared for this inevitably and who is just winging it. We do not wing it here. Here is exactly how we are going to conquer this today. We'll start with the core principles, move into the cognitive domains, break down the technical methodology, master evaluative thinking, and finally, cover the top examiner warnings. Section 1, Core Principles, What the Examiner Wants. Think of this as the foundation of your entire academic house. If you don't understand the ground rules, everything else you build on top of it will completely collapse under pressure. The absolute most fundamental rule of the Cambridge Assessment Framework is analytical depth versus superficial breadth. Let's look at the anatomy of the command words you'll face. The academic benchmarks for this presentation section heavily prioritize a deep, specific analysis over just throwing a wide, superficial net of information onto the page and praying something sticks. You have to deeply contrast what it means to analyze versus evaluate, or explain versus answering to what extent. You are not rewarded for simply memorizing 100 random facts. You are rewarded for taking a few highly relevant pieces of information, isolating the hidden constraints of the prompt, and analyzing them deeply. If the command word is analyze, you are breaking down the components. If it's evaluate, you are judging the value of those components. Knowing the difference is what elevates a mediocre paper to an elite one. So the crucial point is exactly how you build that depth. According to the source material, establishing clear causal relationships is essential. But here is a massive strategy hack: explicitly integrating cross-topic connections. To show you what this looks like in action, let me tell you about a digital study suite session I observed recently with two incredible scholars. Let's call them Alex and Sam. Now, Alex is highly technical, absolutely excels at formulas, definitions, and hard facts, but really struggles with open-ended evaluation. Sam is the total opposite, a highly creative thinker, fantastic at building broad arguments, but struggles with structural precision and timing. When they tackled a massive essay layout for this section, Alex pushed for a purely factual approach, just listing out data. Sam argued for a broader conceptual perspective. The breakthrough happened when they realized that cross-topic connections are the bridge between their two styles. By tying Alex's precise facts to Sam's broader syllabus concepts, they hit the absolute highest marking bands. It proves to the examiner that you don't just see the topic in a vacuum. Section 2. 3 core cognitive domains. When the examiner looks at your paper, they aren't just giving you a general vibe check. They are hunting for 3 distinct mental targets known as assessment objectives. Those domains are knowledge and understanding, analysis, and evaluation. Successful candidates must demonstrate competence across all 3 simultaneously. In our peer debate, Alex was dominating that first column, knowledge. Alex knew all the baseline facts. But Sam realized that rote memorization only gets you a fraction of the points. Sam stepped in and said, wait, we need to push into evaluation. We need to judge this information. But here is where they almost lost the plot. They were jumping straight from facts to judgment, completely skipping the middle step. That is when the self-correction happened. They realized analysis is the glue. Analysis is how you connect the facts before you evaluate them. You have to push your brain systematically through all 3 columns, state the knowledge, analyze its impact, and then evaluate its overall significance. Section 3. The technical methodology. Now, before we look at the exact procedural framework needed to execute these answers and capture those critical method marks, I need to pause the session for a very quick, crucial message. Crushing your Cambridge exams requires consistent, high-level strategy. So right now, I want you to hit that subscribe button for the channel Ace the Exams IGCSE O and A Levels at the handle acetheexam_IGCE. Enable all notifications so you never miss a single weekly breakthrough strategy that could be the difference between an A and an A star. Go ahead, hit subscribe. Okay, let's get back into it. So Alex and Sam are actively drafting a model response, paragraph by paragraph, but they hit a massive roadblock on step 3 of this exact framework, execute with clear working. They were struggling with paragraph linking and time allocation. I had to step in and pause their session. The cognitive strategy to get unstuck here is simple. You have to document your thought process out loud. How you arrive at the answer via clear working is just as important as the final answer itself. We rewrote their flawed section together, showcasing a clear transition from a mediocre, disjointed answer to a flawless, full-mark response just by making their methodology visible to the examiner. Welcome to the interactive pause and practice visual workshop portion of our masterclass. I'm talking directly to you now. A huge part of the technical methodology involves the data interpretation framework. Imagine a complex data chart or text excerpt on the board right now. If I gave you a 60-second countdown timer, could you actively extract the right data? Don't just summarize it. Your job is to interpret the relationships. How does variable A affect variable B? You have to draw evidence-based conclusions. In the exam room, you are essentially acting as an elite investigator. You are pulling the clues, mapping out the relationships, and explaining the exact story they tell. The examiner is testing your ability to filter out the noise and focus purely on the evidence. Let's move to our second visual workshop scenario, spot the flaw. Imagine looking at a poorly written student answer right now. What are the errors? The traps set by examiners often catch students right here in the presentation conventions. Proper headings, the correct terminology, appropriate formats, and clear annotation. The most common flaws are missing headings and sloppy formatting. I cannot stress this enough. Following these specific strict presentation rules is literally the absolute easiest way to lock in points. It shows the examiner you respect the academic format, and it makes it completely effortless for them to follow your logic. If you make them hunt for your answer, they will not give you the benefit of the doubt. Section 4. Master Evaluative Thinking. Here is exactly what separates a good student from an absolute top-scoring elite candidate. This is the hardest hurdle for most students, including our technical genius, Alex. Top candidates do not just state the facts that are given to them. They actively identify limitations in the data. They question the assumptions being made. They evaluate alternative interpretations or approaches. And finally, they provide justified recommendations based entirely on evidence. They aren't just reciting a textbook, they are critically judging the information in real time. If the prompt says a certain policy was successful, an evaluative thinker immediately asks, successful for whom? Under what conditions? What are the alternatives? That level of critical questioning is how you unlock the highest marking bands. To make this evaluation process significantly easier and much more automatic, you should always frame your specific problem-solving approach into these 3 distinct phases: deconstruct, solve systematically, and evaluate and recommend. First, deconstruct the prompt. Identify the giving information and break it into perfectly logical steps. Second, solve it systematically. Work it out and check if your answer is actually reasonable in the real-world context. Finally, and most importantly, move into that high-level evaluation by recommending a justified path forward based on the evidence you just analyzed. If you structure every single extended response with this 3-part rhythm, you will naturally force yourself to hit all those cognitive domains we talked about earlier. Section 5. Top Examiner Warnings. We are now entering the most critical part of this explainer. Let's look at the top 3 mistakes pulled directly from the principal examiner reports. And here is a shocking reality. Examiners are not hiding points from you. Candidates are literally throwing them away on simple process errors. Number 1, forgetting proper format, which loses easy, guaranteed marks. Number 2, failing to double-check presentation. Number 3, answers that lack the specific given context. Notice anything interesting here? None of these top mistakes are about a lack of deep, complex subject knowledge. They are entirely process errors. It is incredibly frustrating to know the material inside and out, but throw away a whole letter grade because you ignored the specific context provided in the prompt or forgot to add a proper heading. Always double-check your presentation. Here is another major examiner alert, directly from the reports, and this was actually a huge personal breakthrough for Sam and Alex during our session. Candidates consistently confuse key terminology. The fix for this is simple but absolutely crucial. Always, always explicitly define your key terms before you use them in an extended response. This was Alex's superpower. Alex realized that by defining the terms right at the start, it immediately proved to the examiner that they had a rock-solid grasp of the core concepts. It grounded the rest of Sam's broad, creative essay in a highly accurate technical framework. Do not assume the examiner knows that you know what a term means. Prove it by explicitly stating it first. To help you retain all these structured frameworks under the extreme pressure of the exam room, let's synthesize this entire masterclass into 3 core memorable pillars. First is the 3-step question scan. Always isolate the command word, the content knowledge, and the hidden constraints. Second is the paragraph balance formula, ensuring you hit knowledge, analysis, and evaluation in equal measure. And third is the last 5 minutes review checklist, where you exclusively check for those formatting and presentation process errors we just discussed. Our source material highly suggests a quick, effective memory hack. Create a mnemonic using the first letters of your key terms or these procedural steps. Having a simple acronym in your head gives you an instant, reliable checklist to fall back on when the exam clock is ticking and your brain feels frozen. As we wrap up this masterclass, I want to leave you with a provocative question to ask yourself during your very next past paper practice session. Look at your answer and ask, am I just stating facts, or am I proving a well-structured, contextualized conclusion? Remember the core pillars we covered today. Depth over breadth. Follow the systematic playbook. Secure those method marks, and evaluate with absolute precision. Crushing Cambridge exams requires consistent strategy, so before you go, remember to hit that subscribe button for Ace the Exam's IGCSE O and A levels at acetheexam_IGCSE. Turn on the notification bell for future exam hacks, and drop a comment down below with your exact target grade so we can hold you accountable. Take this framework, apply it relentlessly, and you will master the Cambridge Afrikaans language AS level. Keep analyzing, and I'll see you in the next session.